Just gonna see if I can get some people in. Yeah, I'm gonna play some Crash 3. Hopefully this stream will go okay. We'll just have to wait and see. Dun 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 dun. Oh, might be getting someone in just a moment. Tell you what I should do, which I don't usually do, but I probably should, is post on my see, on Facebook I do have a sort of like, well, I use this term loosely. I have a sort of a fan page, and what I mean by that is I have a page for, you know, my Velocity 11 name. So I might just post it there. Might get some new people. I mean, it's not very like it's not like a big thing, but you can see how it goes. Got 2 people in here. How are you both doing? Hope you're having a fine day. I'm just trying to get some stuff sorted out. Can you hear me okay? And can you hear the game okay? Hopefully it's not like Samurai Warriors where it's all like just cuts the game audio out. Foolish dingo! You must find and devour the 7 crystal babies, or be trapped in for all eternity in deep didgeridoo. Well, that is how it goes, isn't it? Right, that's good. Hopefully everything's alright. I actually haven't started my file on Crash 3 because I was still in the middle of Crash 2, but I got stuck on trying to get one of the relics. And I'm thinking, you know what, I'm streaming, I might just start Crash 3 now. I haven't really, I don't think I've seen this cutscene on the PS4 version. Oh no, Uka has been freed!
Uka is free? No, it cannot be. Evil, great evil has come.
Oh Crash, you so silly. That room looks a lot smaller. The center room.
You have failed me twice. Great Uka. It was that infernal Bandicoot.
I'll get you next time, Crash Bandicoot.
I sent you simple instructions to follow, but you lost the gems. You lost the crystals. And I have lost my patience.
I think Uka's a bit over animated.
On this planet. I know we've had
I don't know.
Unfortunate setbacks.
And failed.
Still looks very nice though.
Since your bumbling has managed to set me free, I am feeling
Generous. There is still a way to amass the power needed to enslave this miserable planet. And this time...
I mean, look at his teeth.
This time, the great Uka Uka will make sure that you do it right.
After many eons, my evil twin brother, Uka Uka, has been freed from his underground prison. Long ago, I locked him there to protect the world from his malice.
From devastation? Now, to unite all peoples within our nation,
Be stopped.
we must blast off again. Gotta catch 'em all, crystals.
Children, Uka Uka and Cortex plan to use this time-twisting machine to gather
I like how he says
crystals
children.
scattered across time.
Like
I
he's
have
talking
brought
to
you
us.
here to recover the crystals before they do. To open the time portal, simply stand on a button and then jump into the portal.
Oh, that looks different. You know, the frog there in the warp room. The time twister? Oh, what thing is that? I don't remember. Oh yeah, you've got a button to save and load now, so this screen is just... Oh, what is it? Oh, is there a new thing going on here? Yeah. So what's going on with this screen now? It seems as though there's no like... There's no like save like on the screen. It's sort of like, what does the screen do? Just these electric barriers all over. Yep. Boing. Perfect. Doing. It doesn't have that bouncy effect. Oh, she's like looking at memories from like the earlier Crash games or something. I know I've done nothing, but whatever. I really don't remember.
Crash, crash, crash. Why must you always muck in my mud? Oh, look! I have a mask helping me, too. We will find out which one is more powerful soon enough.
Okay. Dun 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 dun. Do 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 do. I wonder how this is going to fare compared to Crash 2 difficulty wise on this version. Ah, these switching boxes. Doodle doo doo doo. This is a game where I'm not sure if I should use the analog stick or the D-pad. Do 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 do. Oh, that was an easy trophy to get. Hello there, Fran. Wasn't expecting to see you here. How are you doing? I've only just started. Well, as you can see in the top left corner there, I've really only just started. I don't know how long I'm going to go for today. But how are you doing? I saw an opportunity to stream, so I thought, why not just go for it? I was saying before that I haven't actually well, obviously, like, I'm just starting it now, as you can see. I haven't actually started this one on the PS4 yet, but oh yeah, oh, that's very nice. Good to know that that's doing its thing. Yeah, my original plan was to, you know, I mean, I platinumed Crash 1, and so I wanted to platinum Crash 2 before this, but I just got stuck on one of the relics, and I'm thinking, if I want to stream, I don't want to stream just me trying one level over and over again. What do you mean? What made you think that? You're probably getting me mixed up with something that someone else said, I'm imagining. Because I've always praised 13. I mean, I praise all of them pretty much, but and what brings that up, by the way? Or are you making a joke that I'm not getting? I'm not sure. Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah, I like 13. I totally skip my mind of my lightning avatar. Yeah, I really like 13. I mean, I don't want to like bang on about it because it can be quite a tiresome topic, but you know. Yeah, you probably just got me mixed up with somebody else. Oh, hold on one moment. Just getting something sorted here. By the way, I've sent Mule the link to this, but I don't know if because I remember I mentioned to him that I might be streaming some today. Oh, what? Oh, so you're very pro 13 as well then? I mean, I don't really remember who says what every so on. I mean, when it comes like Mule streams, there's a few things like I can remember between different people, but I know there was someone who was like, aside from me, who was praising 13, but yeah, most people just like hate on it, and they say generally a lot of things. And actually, there's someone else in the stream here who, I don't know if she's here right now, but she's also a big fan of 13. But yeah, there's a lot of things going on in 13 that people, I think, don't really understand and people don't follow. Are you referring to the first Crash game, or are you talking about this one? Or even Crash 2? Since they're all PS1 games that end with Neo Cortex. And some of these water levels can become like a real pain. Right. Yeah, I really like the series. I think the first Crash gets a lot of hate that it doesn't deserve. Well, Well, maybe not so much hate, but I don't know. This thing is really awkward to control. I don't know if it was like this back on the PS1, but it feels really sluggish. Right. Missed a load of boxes there, so that's probably just from another warp room. Like I don't know how much you know, but the way that Crash, well, yeah, it is sluggish. That particular boat thing, it is sluggish. I don't know. I don't remember it being like that in the original, but I mean, it might have been. Hello. She's back. Oh. Looks like I've got my stream running in the background on my laptop, which is not what I meant to happen. Oh man. I'll just close that if I can. Right. So yeah, I don't remember like all the different like paths to go for all the boxes and stuff. Hey Jenny, do you remember in the first water level, if you needed a gem or something to, or like a secret warp room or something to get to the gem, because I missed out the like a load of boxes. So it's one of those cases where I'm assuming I just like missed something. But yeah, Fran here, who I know from Mule streams, is here, and he doesn't really hate it when you miss a box on one of these levels and you have to like kill yourself because you can't go back. But yeah, he's not too familiar with the Crash Bandicoot series as far as I'm aware, so I'm just having to like explain things. So yeah, in order to get the gem, I mean there's different types of gems, but most of the gems you get by breaking all the boxes in the level. I mean, I don't know how much you actually do know, but I'm just going to say anyway. So yeah, there's that, but sometimes there's like secret areas that are locked off that you need like other different types of gems or different like access from different levels to get to. Things like that. Do 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 do. Oh, see, like there. Now I've got to like fall down this hole. I mean, this is early games. Oh, I was going to say, this is early games. I probably don't have many lives, but yeah, I've got 15. That was close. Dun 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 dun. Oh, how cute. Meow, little tiger. So what did I say to make you laugh? Unless I, oh, right. Foolish dingo! You must find, devour the 7 crystal babies, or else be trapped in for all eternity in deep didgeridoo! Ha 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 ha! Boneyard.
Uka Uka and Cortex want tiny get crystals and bring them to big Colosseum in
Yeah, see, unlock a new path by earning the red gem elsewhere. See, the thing is that these remakes, they flat out tell you, like, you can't get everything in this level until you have this thing. But it's sort of like, well, shouldn't we be finding that out by playing? People always complained about these types of levels. I don't understand, like, oh, it's so hard, you can't see where you're going because you're running towards the camera. But, like, I've never had a problem with it. It's like, I always feel like you've got plenty of time. With the exception, though, I remember in Crash 2, if you want to get, like, the relics, if you want to get the relics, then you do have to, you know, do the dash, and then it does become a lot harder. There's pretty tight jumps there. Oh, PS4's doing that thing where it makes a noise again. I'm going to open up the window. Right. That should hopefully cool it down, even though... Yeah, I know what you mean. Those bits are annoying. Where you gotta like run backwards and stuff. You know, I think it's ridiculous the way that people have been saying like how hard these games are. Well, the thing is though, is that I remember being a kid and not really having any issues. I mean, like, oh, see there's that red platform. What that means is that, you know, you need the red gem in order to go through that path. You know, I hear these stories about like, oh, they've added these easier modes for kids, or, you know, they've done this for kids, and like kids need these easy difficulties or stuff, so it's like more accessible and all that. But when I think about the games that I played when I was a kid, I didn't think to myself like, oh, this is too hard, I need to actually like, they should have a different mode where I can go through it faster. I just loved the game, I just played them. I know people can say like, oh well that's you, but that's not everyone. But I think people really underestimate kids a lot of the time. Because we live in a world now where, and I'm not saying, okay, I mean, you know, I love RPGs, so obviously I'm not saying that this is like entirely the case, but I think generally speaking, we live in a world now where people feel like entitled to complete a game. So when something does offer like a level of challenge to it, it's seen as a bad thing, because people expect to be able to complete a game. It's not like a big thing to complete a game anymore. Like, you look at like some like early platform games and all that, like completing them was something that like you played it over a long period of time and you got good at it and you learned different things and all that. Oh yeah, I know what you mean. I hate a lot of the local slang and all that. Like, nah, mate. Oh. I hate when people say nah instead of no. That's an example. I don't know how local that is a thing. Oh, another local thing that people do that I find annoying is when people say "are we," as in like, come on, hurry up. I'll have to read the comments next time I enter a safe space. Yeah, from Liverpool. Now when I think of Liverpool, there's a character in 15 Million Merits that I was telling you about. Who's like a very not much like a major character, just a character that sort of like appears for a couple of scenes, and she's like, "That's not fair. I'm a good singer." You're a prick, you know that? I do feel like some of those jumps are a bit tight there. Bury me birds at the offie like kidder. Yeah, for me, it's when people say nah instead of no. Like I remember I was once in Home Bargains and there was like a mother saying to her kid like, "You want this?" Nah. It's like, oh, it's horrible. I'm struggling with this more than I feel like I should be. Maybe because it's... I mean, of course I can blame anything else other than my own skill, but I don't feel like this is something that I would normally struggle with, like originally. Maybe I'm just not in the swing of things, but those jumps feel really buried. Right, okay. I don't know if it's just me, but those jumps seem really large, those lava pits. Like that, it's like so tight, you've got to be very accurate. I'm gonna run out of lives if I'm not careful. Oh wow, this is unprecedented. I mean, it can't just be me. Those pits do feel really large. Ugh. Wasn't sure if he was gonna knock into that nitro box, but I had to get it just in case. So yeah, what I was saying before was like, I remember when I was younger, it was a case of... Oh. I was thinking that was like, you know, the exclamation box. Yeah, I remember when I was younger, it was more so the case that... I'll read your comment in just a moment. I can see comments popping up, but I can't really see them because I have to look at the screen. Oh. Right, there we are. Oh. Well... I don't think there's anything different about Crash 3 in particular. I mean, Crash 1 and 2 have added relics, and 1 has changed the requirements for saving, and... what is it? Done? It changed the requirements for saving and the blank gems. You don't need to do it in one life. But to be honest, I think that it was better the way it was. Yeah, Crash 2 also has relics. Oh, hold on 1 minute. I might need to finish. Hold on. Just a moment. Stairs, but this is so weird because I've got the controller in my hand. I'm actually downstairs and I'm away from my TV, so I can't see what's going on. About to come back upstairs, but I've got my controller and headset with me, so I'm just walking around the house. I'm gonna walk upstairs. You can hear me walking upstairs. And back into my room. Dun dun dun. I think it was just people like shouting outside. Wow, wow. ASMR? Did it sound strange? Anyway, I've heard from Kadikarus that these levels control really badly on this version of the game. So let's see how that goes. Alright. Do 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 do. Right, R2 to accelerate. L for trick. Whoa. Yeah, I know. It's like, hello and welcome to ASMR. Don't know if you could hear that. Right, this is weird. It's sort of, this controls more like a racing game now, where you press R2 to accelerate. It says L for trick, but I don't know what that means. I remember I once saw a video which was like E3 ASMR, and it was just some guy talking about E3 but whispering, and it's like the only ASMR thing about it was that they were whispering. Just like saying, hello, today we're going to talk about E3 and what I felt about the presentation. I felt that Sony's presentation was very well presented this year. I don't know if you could hear that, but that was just like me whispering, like just like talking about E3. That was it. That was the video. But yeah, I don't like it. I don't like ASMR. No, I can very easily imagine these levels being horrible for the relics now that I've got, because it seems to be all like, oh my goodness, unlike the underwatery levels with that machine thing. I think you can see what's going on here. Yeah, this is the opposite. This one's very slippy and slidey. I mean, let's see if you can. Okay, I'm going to put the analog stick close to the microphone. Tell me if you can hear, right? That's me trying to like get things like positioned and lined up. Oh my goodness. I completely understand what he was saying. So you gotta line up perfectly, like. Right. Right, okay, got that one. We get this one now. Yay! Whoa. I got so slippy. But we've got 5 people here at the moment. How are the 5 of you? So that's 3 well, at least 3 unknown people in the stream. Right. Well, that's the first warp room done, at least as far as crystals are concerned. So I've got, you know, all the gems and all that to do. I don't... Thing is, opening that window really, like, helps with the, you know, the PS4, keep it cool and everything, but it makes me cold as well. Which is not nice. Dun 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 dun. I'm gonna wrap up a bit. Tell you what, I'm looking forward to Christmas because I'll get some time off work. When was you on PC? Oh, I see, yeah. I see, right, yeah. Actually, I wonder if one of them's me. No. One of them isn't me. Yeah, I do that when watching streams. I watch it on my PS4, but then I use my laptop to comment. Wow, wow. Wait, what? Did I choose Lord? Oh. I think I pressed X, which was like Lord, so I'm gonna have to Right, yes. Lord. And then save with square. Dun 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 dun. Strange that they call it the warp room the time twister. Is that to make it distinct from the warp room from Crash 2? Right. Square. Tiny tiger, da da dun 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 dun.
Crash! Go, go! Stole the pretty crystals! Tiny, take them back in Gladiator Arena!
Okay then, Tiny. Oh, Cortex wasn't there before, I don't think. I have a very distinct memory of fighting this boss originally back on the PS1 days. Oh yeah, they throw a thing, don't they? Well, that didn't work. But remember, like, if you go into one of the corners, because I remember because I found out in the original one you could go to like one of the corners and it would, you'd be like invincible because your hitbox would be just out of reach or whatever. Oh, you can't spin them. what I was saying before, if I can get back to an insane track of what I was saying, yeah, people were saying like, ooh, Crash Bandicoot is super hard, and I'll grant them if you're talking about the relics, then yes, I'd agree, but felt like I was jumping, like running away from them. I'll grant if you're talking about the relics, then yes, the relics can really be like incredibly hard, but if you're just talking about like the gems and the crystals and everything, it's like, I don't think it's that hard. And I don't feel like I'm like a really good like gameplay, if you know what I mean. I feel like, and I imagine this is probably a common feeling for a lot of people who like played games as a kid, like yeah, I'm just not concentrating. I feel like this is probably like a thing that many people experience as a kid when they play games, that like they are like really good compared to everyone else, but then when you get older and you get to know more people who play games, because I mean when I was like in primary school I only knew like a couple of people who played games. Oh my goodness, I do feel like this is harder though. Because the lines are bigger, aren't they? And the camera's a bit different. Oh yeah, I was granted dead. Oh, whatchamacallit? An Aku mask. Yeah, it seems really, yeah, so it seems really strange to me that people would say that like this game, or like the Crash games in general, are really hard, because I don't particularly feel like they're any harder than like other games. Hi there, Gabrielle. Yeah, I could do that, couldn't I? Because I don't need the sprint shoes. No, I'm not going to do that though just yet. I mean, I understand what you mean though, because yeah, because all the other levels, it's like you need the sprint shoes, isn't it? Or at least most of the other levels.
Well done, children. By defeating Tiny, you have unlocked the gate to the next time travel area. Go back to the center of this time twister and save your progress if you wish. From there, you will see that the gate to the second time travel area is now open.
Time travel area. Yeah, I'm not going to do that just yet though. But I do get where you're coming from. Gee whiz.
Why must you continue to be a thorn in our side?
Who? What? Where was I? Oh, Tiny was a good fellow. He hated everyone and everything, but a good heart nonetheless. Please be more reasonable with my minions next time.
Oh yeah, we get these boxes now. I didn't notice there wasn't any of those boxes in the first, well, time travel area as they would call them. Do-do-do-do-do. Stupid depth perception. Yeah, I feel like I've lost an unreasonable amount of lives. Sort of ran out. I don't know what to talk about it right at the moment. Dun 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 dun. My first invincibility of this playthrough of this game. Which is quite a while, considering up to the second time travel area, as they call it. That frog just jumped into that nitro. That doesn't normally happen. I don't think. See, I like this bonus stage. Well, I don't particularly like this bonus stage, so to speak, but no, that's a good. It's a. I mean, as long as I've got something to talk about, I suppose. I mean, I'll talk about like the game when like certain things come up. Like for example, I like the way that you got this box here that's like hidden underneath these, but you got to jump in it and get back before this. I like things like that. But yeah, I'm okay. Whatever topic comes up, I suppose. I mean, my streams. I'm kind of going off topic here as well, aren't I? The way that I see streams is that the way that I do them is that it's not like a formal like playthrough of a game. It's just me playing a game of whatever I happen to be playing and just talking about stuff, which does involve the game, but can also involve other stuff as well. I think 13 is very good. I think if you were to judge, like, I generally think that the whole like ranking like every game in the series is not. I think it's like an argument that people can have that is rather unproductive most of the time, and you can. I mean, obviously, I've got my top 500 games, so you can see where I rank them when I get to them. But I generally think that if I was to put it in a position, I would say it's probably like in the middle or like the back end of the middle. If you know what I mean. I definitely think it's not as good as some of the well, yeah, I'm not going to go into too much details, but I think there's like, it's generally, well, just because it's a really good game. We aren't going to go into specifics. I think a lot of the complaints that people have are pretty unfounded in the way that, well, if we go through them bit by bit, like for example, one of the things that people talk about is like, oh, it's linear, but I think that people really, generally speaking, really, I'm going to close that window. Probably going to reopen it again soon. My PS4 starts making noises again. But when people use the word linear, they always use it to mean like physical, geographic, meat space. Like you walk down a path, that type of thing. But linear can mean like all sorts of things depending on what it's referencing. I wouldn't say 13 is the most linear in the series. I would say 4 has a chance of that because of how few options you're given for long-term customization. Whereas 13 sort of bottlenecks you in a way in regards to that. It's still very structured. So, like, the way that, for example, you got the Crystarium expansions and everything, the way that the points are given to you, and the way that things are costed, is that a word, costed? It's very much set up with the expansions in mind, knowing that there are certain things that cost a lot more. It's a very... what's the word I'm looking for? The cost per output is not very one-to-one. Which is very interesting, because sometimes you'll have like HP plus 100 for however much, and ooh, one of my neighbours is just turning on their Christmas lights I can see out the window. Well, the sort of flashed on and off again. Priced. I suppose. I mean, the thing is though, it's not like literally money, so that's not really a word that I would have jumped to. It's not linear pricing, basically. And it's not necessarily logarithmic pricing either. Oh dear. Right. Hopefully I can still get these up here. Oh yeah, that should be fine. Oh, there's one of these as well. Yeah. Like, you might have like... you might have HP plus 100 for however much it costs. Well, sort of. But it's very... everything's scaled relative to its availability. So, for example, you might have something that's like HP plus 100 for... I'm just pulling any numbers out here. You have HP plus 100 for 2000 CP, and then you might have like an off branch with HP plus 50 for that same amount of CP. And obviously it's not as worth it, and then once you get the expansion, yeah, sort of like that. But it's like balanced against its availability, so the less cost-effective abilities will be the ones that are the optional ones, and they'll also be the ones that are available earlier on. So you can... oh my goodness. Yeah, you can acquire CP and be better off for not spending it, because if you are skilled enough to be able to beat the bosses without spending the CP, you will get a better deal in the long term once you've defeated that boss and then get the upgrade. And this also applies towards the end game when you unlock the secondary Crystariums, because those ones are obviously, they're a lot less effective, and you sort of have to focus more on the primary ones to get the most use out of them. But even still, you haven't reached the full expansion at that point. You still have a ways to go before you expand to the maximum. I mean, you know, until you beat the final boss. So between chapters, what is it, like 9 and 14 or 13 or whatever it is, the last one, I don't remember. It's like you still have that sort of... oh, no, that's just the level I've been in.
Crash, Coco, if you have already retrieved a level...
yeah, he's going to talk about the relic, isn't he?
Find a floating clock when you enter for the second time. This floating clock activates time trial.
This floating clock activates the time trial mode. I say.
To get the best time, but beware, some elements will change.
Hang 'em high, my friend. Yeah, Did not mean to do that. So yeah, you've constantly got that balancing act between the two. But what this can also mean is that some abilities that are very useful to you are also locked behind certain access points. So, for example, like the synergist abilities, like the Ra variations like Faith Ra and Brave Ra are locked behind Fran's synergist tree, but she is a very ineffective synergist. So you have to very much like find specific points where people are useful at certain things, because even, you know, not every character can learn every ability, which in most cases is fine, right? And in games where they do let you get every character to learn every ability, that's also fine. But in this case, it works very well that they can't. Oh my goodness, I've got to do this now. Oh. Yeah, in most cases it's fine that they don't, or if they do. But in this case it's a case of getting people to be better at certain roles at certain points. Like, for example, Hope is not a primary saboteur, and he does lack behind on the saboteur skills, but where he is more prevalent in his saboteur skills is that he has the widest variety of saboteur skills. Now what makes him obviously not so good at being a saboteur in that regard is that he only gains access to the ones that multi-target the enemies. And the game also operates on very much a case-by-case basis with your party setup. Because the way that the game works is that, you know, every character gains CP at the same rate regardless of who you use. That means you won't focus on just a few characters and then build them up and then ignore the rest, which can work very well for a game if they want to. Oh, that was very quick, wasn't it? Oh, well, I didn't get the crystal. That felt like a really quick level. I'll have to try that again. It felt really quick. So yeah, there's many times, especially like during the hunts, where like the missions is not hunts. I'm thinking about 12 there. There's many times during the missions where what they do is, whenever you start a new one, you still have to think about what team you're going to use, because they all grow equally in that way, so the decision making is more short term. But because of that, it's also, the decision making is more of a consistent process rather than a singular overarching one. As for the battle system, people will... Are you still there, by the way? I hope I'm not rambling and you're not there listening. Because, you know, you ask me about a single game and I can go on for a long time. Right, okay, I've got to not get the, yeah, that's good. Just need to, I need to also, like, focus on this as well. I want to get first. Dun dun. So yeah, the battle system, a lot of the people say, a lot of the criticism behind the battle system is it's just auto attack, that's all you do. You don't have to remember weaknesses or anything. But people misunderstand the function of auto battle. People see it as a sort of select the best things, but what it actually does is it simulates a trial and error. So because every different individual role, right? Oh, I don't think I'm going to do this. Oh, there's no, like, restart. You've got to, like, quit and go back out. Right, what was I saying? Yeah, because every role is very focused, you know, like, a Ravager is very focused on building up the chain gauge, and Saboteur is very much, yeah, it is debuffing. To the point where each role can't do anything other than what it's meant to do. And because of that, it allows the algorithms in the game to really I was going to say, it allows the algorithms to really work effectively. So say you've got a character who is a Ravager and you're fighting a new enemy and you haven't used Libra, you haven't got any information about them. What will happen is you'll use Ravager and you use auto chain, that's what it's called for Ravagers. You'll use auto chain and it'll just pile up random spells. It'll be like Thunder, Fire, Blizzard or whatever. And then once you've done those attacks and it reveals what it's weak to, then the algorithm will sort itself out for that. So say if you use like Fire, Blizzard, Thunder, and then it determines, oh well, it's resistant to Thunder, then it will cut Thunder out of the next sort of equation. Oh, hold on, sorry, I'm just sorting something out. Hello, Ice22. How you doing? Hope you don't mind talking to, you see Fran here? Just asked me about Final Fantasy 13, so just having a little conversation there. I'm like explaining stuff. Do I know you anywhere from anywhere, Ice? I'm not sure. Do I recognise that name, Ice22? I don't know. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so it will sort of like, the algorithm will adjust itself accordingly. So it's not like choose the best thing. It just does what you would do given the information that has been revealed to you. And because it does that, what it allows is it allows the game to be more focused on you controlling the more overarching, generalized strategies. And a lot of people oh, who else do you watch? Do you mean my streams or do you mean someone else's? And if someone else's, whose do you watch? Because I don't know. But yeah, people say that, you know, oh, enemies in 13 have loads and loads of health, so battles take for ages. But I mean, the reason that they have so much health is because the progression of how much damage you can do is exponential. Well, that didn't work. Yeah, yeah, the damage that you do is exponential. So, you know, you do the commandos and you do the Ravagers to sort of balance the increased chain gauge against the reduced ability for them to reset their chain gauge. So what ends up happening is the reason you have lots of health with enemies is because, yeah, at the start you're only doing like X amount of damage, but by the end of it you're doing like triple that or quadruple that or maybe even 10 times that depending on what enemy you're fighting. And it's because of this chain gauge as things go like up and down and their defenses weaken and stuff that the constant state is fluctuating quite a lot. So where the real challenge in that comes is when you've got stuff to do, you've got like your own maintenance to do, but it's at a very inopportune time because when the enemy is staggered and they're really like weak. Sorry Ice, I don't recognise either of those. When the yeah, when their health is like, when their stagger is like really high up, that is your opportunity to pile on the damage. But because of that, you really need to try to focus that time because that's your opportunity to damage the enemy. And when that gets tense is when you have other matters to attend to at the same time. So, you know, you have to like keep up with your health and keep rebuffing and everything, but their stagger is going down and all that. And even if they're not staggered, that also applies, because if you've built up their stagger so far and you know they are like going to reset their yeah, so I don't recognize any of those names, sorry. Yeah, once you're like, say you've got like their stagger gauge up to a really high amount, but you haven't like properly staggered them, you want to be able to keep that up. And then if you say you need to heal, what will end up happening is that I was crouching. Can you not crouch those? I thought you could. So when the stagger is high and you've got other matters to attend to, it gets really hard because you're going to have to go to heal, but you're also going to have to make sure that you keep that stagger up, you know, switch to a commando so that you stop them from resetting, and you can't always make it, and it's really nasty when you can't make it. Yeah, well, I don't really care much about story stuff in general. Story stuff doesn't bother me. I mean, you know, I'll watch a story and I'll enjoy it, I suppose, but I'm just not bothered about story in games in general, really. It's never a make or break. It's never a make or break deal for me. Also, people complain about how you don't get access to all your characters until like a long time in. But everything's relative, you know. Like when you compare the way that Final Fantasy was going with 10 and 12, those games very much gave you your characters like very sequentially. There was very much a strict order to it. And obviously there was some times where you lost them, like, and then you got them back again later, like say Auron and Pinello. But those games are kind of like you got your characters and they just sort of like built up from there. And so it was nice, it was like a bit of a change to go that other way. Feels like there should be something here. Because yeah, there are certain trends, so it's nice to have something like a little different in that regards, and sometimes, you know, it's nice to have that sort of variation. Yeah, I'm missing a lot there, so obviously I don't know where I missed a thing, but I missed a thing somewhere. Maybe it was the death route. I don't know. For now I'm just playing through to get the crystals and whatever gems I can get along the way. But you know, if you look at some of like the big, like highly acclaimed games like Lost Odyssey and Final Fantasy IX, even those games take a long time before you can get all your characters together. So I hope that was
Good day, mate. Dingodile's the name. And Uka and Cortex gave me orders to bring the crystals to them during the Ice Ages. So give me the goods and shove off, or I'll roast yous.
As I was saying, Dingodile. I hope that was I hope you liked my answer, my explanation of well, like in 13. Actually, I should also mention that given the way that the systems work, it lends itself very well to like super bosses and all that. Like the missions themselves, like Vercingetorix and I forget what it's called, but you know there's like those two guys on the mountain where they've got like shields. You have to like break the shields and all that. And Atticus. I think the game, when it comes to bosses, is fantastic. I think that's like, you know, similar to Final Fantasy 4 in that sort of way. I think 4 and 13 have a lot of like similarity. I miss them. 4 and 13 have a lot of similarity in that for the series they are pretty linear, you know, for the series. I mean, the series is a very open series, despite what people will say. And because of that, they can do like individual, like you know, like boss fights and all that, like individual contained parts of it. They can do those very well. See, these are other levels that I could like just instantly do relics for again, isn't it? Do 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 do. But linear is a word that I should have gone up there. Linear is a word that gets chucked around a lot. And it's always used to mean things like these days. I've noticed it these days to be used just to mean single player games, which is stupid. Like, have games really gotten to that point where if a game's single player, it's considered linear? Does that checkpoint count? Oh, I guess it does. How fortunate. But when I see like, you know, people will say like, oh, Final Fantasy 13 linear, and I don't think, oh yeah, this is a linear game, because when I think of like linear, I think about games where it's like, oh, games that don't let you keep any, nothing carries over, they don't let you keep anything, everything's like just, everything keeps restarting, and you know, like fewer resources to like have to manage and all that. I'm doing really badly here, aren't I? How many lives am I on? 13. Oh, speaking of the number 13. Dun 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 dun. Right, is that the end? This is the end. Sorry, I'm just distracted. Dun 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 dun. You know what? I've just thought. I'm already. I mean, if you don't include like, if you're just talking about crystals, I'm already like 40% of the way through the game. Well, not exactly 40%, but almost 40%. Have I missed one out? I must have missed one. Oh yeah, the race I've got to get first, don't I? Do. What did you think about all that stuff I was saying then, Fran, about 13? Was that the type of thing that you were asking about, or did I miss the mark? Got 7 people in the stream here watching. I wonder if that's I wonder if that's mostly because I'm playing Crash. Maybe I've garnered some attention from that. But usually I don't get too many people. Whatever, I don't mind, like, to me, it's not so much about the amount of people as it is like, you know, who the people are. I don't really have a desire to become like big and famous or anything like that. It's nice to have like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna win this. So I'm guessing you're here mostly because you found me through, you know, the fact that I'm playing Crash 3. Oh yeah, you should have realised that it gives you the option to restart. I mean, it didn't give me the option when I got the gem. If we're talking about games that I have streamed before, I have streamed, most recently I've streamed Rayman Legends and some Samurai Warriors 4, but that was not very successful because, you know, it keeps cutting out the chat and it doesn't play the game audio, which is stupid. Gee, I wonder if I can do that, like, boost thing, you know, where like, you press the button as soon as it starts. Oh, well, that's nice to know. Yeah, oh, right. Okay. Well, I'm guessing maybe you've watched Crash streamers before, and it's just come up because of that. But yeah. So recently I've been playing, stream-wise, I've been playing Rayman Legends and Samurai Warriors 4. Before then, I've played some Rainbow Moon, which I absolutely adore. I've done some Final Fantasy 15 and Far Cry 4. And a while ago, like a couple of years ago now, I used to... Oh, can I... Oh, no. And this is just the first racing one. I think I might be missing something here. When I started streaming, I was doing Pixel Junk Shooter. If you want to know what types of games I'm into, like, you know, just outside of streaming that I just like playing in general, I really like JRPGs mostly, and like all that turn-based and customization and all that sort of stuff. Right. Yeah, I've been playing some Rayman Legends, and I figured for today I'd just... Ooh, and those Christmas lights I mentioned about are on. I think that was the same situation for me, Fran, when it came to Mule, because I remember it was his first episode as well. I was just on my PS4. Hold on, sorry, just one moment. Right, sorry, I just got distracted getting comments on Facebook, on statuses and all that. You know how it goes. Yeah, I was just... Did it kick me out? Didn't it give me the opportunity to try again? Yeah, well, what happened with Mule is I was just scrolling through like my PS4 and it was like live recommendations and it had like Final Fantasy VIII, so I just, you know, clicked on it and started watching, and it was like, it was the first episode of, you know, Final Fantasy VIII, and so I was watching that, and that's how I found Mule, and that's how I found you, because you know that you found him at the same place. But the thing is though, is that you've watched, I know you watched some of my videos because you've watched through my, at least what currently exists, of my top 500 game series. So you've seen a lot of my videos. It's like 64 episodes now, I think. That is if you've fully caught up. Yeah, it's like 64 episodes, and oh, it's that last one there and this one here. Oh, hold on. Oh, it shows you what powers you've unlocked on that sidebar. I didn't even notice that until just now. So that's probably why, because you've already watched a lot of my videos. Dun dun dun. You were saying, Fran, before, I think, that your favourite game is Final Fantasy VIII? That's like your #1 game. It's weird how, like, when you land from one of those jumps, it doesn't do like this, the smash, it does like a boop. A little boop. Right. Oh. Oh, no. Yeah, the original Crash, I think, is a lot better than what people make it out to be. It was my first PS1 game. Well, I say that, I'm not too sure if it was the very first one I got. Well, you know, it would have been like part of a group of PS1 games I got, because my granddad used to always copy them. But it was like... Crash Bandicoot 1 was very special to me in that it was like my first 3D game. Oh, I'm doing terribly here. I can't just fall down. I hear that when you land, it's like boop, beep, beep. It's not like a crash. Feels like you're not landing properly. Yeah, I never played Driver. Okay, Final Fantasy VIII is very special to me. Can you hear that? That landing? It's pathetic. Actually, okay. Final Fantasy VIII is, I would say, the most important game in my life as of yet, because it was the game. It wasn't like the first RPG I ever played, but it was the first game that really like introduced me to the concept of RPGs. And I mean, you'll hear about this again when I get to it on Top 500 Games, but when I first was showing it, my friend brought it round, and I was like instantly obsessed. I was like, oh my god, this is like Pokemon, but like really, really good. Okay, that boost there lasted a long time. Hopefully I can find a way to utilise that. And so there was one time where I borrowed it from him, and I was trapped in Balam Garden because Disc 1, his copy of the game, Disc 1 broke the moment you left Balam Garden, so I was just stuck. I was in the training area for hours, just listening to the training area music, which is why, as I've mentioned before, the training area music is very special to me. Oh, can I do it? No. This is the first racing level. Why is it so, like, difficult? By the way, Ice, as you've just been hearing me talk about, and as you can probably see that shameless promotion at the bottom of the screen there, I have a Top 500 Game series with a new episode coming out every week. Most of it is out now. It's in the, like, we're nearly up to the top 50 games, and so it's due to finish in April. You know, there's like a new episode every Wednesday. But yeah, I've got a big series going on there where right, okay, if I let go of R2 at all, it stops the boost. So I've got to be careful with that. Oh, for goodness sake. I'm just going to quit and jump back in, that might be faster. But yeah, I have a Top 500 Game series. I mean, it's a bit outdated now because I originally made the list over a year ago now. But yeah, I have a list of 500 games, and I go through each of them one by one and I talk about them and my experiences with them. It was a very ambitious project. Yeah, I'm not sure about the jumps. See, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about, you know, you press the button before it, like, you know, pushes you forward. I was thinking, yeah, that makes sense. No, but probably got to do this thing where I just keep, like, quitting and restarting until I get it right. Yeah, because I know a lot of racing games do that, where, you know, you press it at, like, just the right time. But it's knowing, like, exactly when that time is, isn't it? Right, okay. So let's hope this works out. Right, okay. It's just timing. It's just, if you know when the timing is. I mean, the thing is though, you can say like just before, but it's those types of things where it's one of those things where you gotta get a feel for it. It's not like I can just move on and come back to this later for the sake of the stream, because I have to beat this boss in order to, this level, in order to get to the next boss. Dun 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 dun, do 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 do. Right, I got it. I was just thinking about that. And I knew he was making a mistake when he decided to go for the Queen of Cards thing. I'm thinking, what are you doing? Don't. Just don't. I knew from the offset that was going to be a disaster. Right, okay. So I'm holding down the accelerator the whole time. I'm going to get that boost. And going to avoid the jumps. Did you push him into doing the Queen of Cards? Is it your fault? Ah. Well, oh. Ah. I see. Yeah. Well, despite missing that thing at the end and being distracted by the comments, I still won and got that crystal. Yeah, I do try and stay on the road, but sometimes it's sort of like, you know, when you see like a police car and it's kind of like, oh, there's a little gap there, I might be able to like go around it a bit. You knew it was going to be like that, and you thought, oh yeah. Oh, is it you that used to keep... are you the one that used to keep commenting saying like, oh, do lots of cards? Just, you know...
Right. Now you've gone and done it. Them crystals are mine.
No, they're not. They're mine, you idiot dingadile. I always liked this boss when I was younger. Time to make toast. That was me reading the comments there. Break out the butter. Gotta make toast. Da 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 da. Yeah, I don't think he knew what he was in for. I've never bothered with that Queen of Cards stuff. It's all like, you know, you gotta lose this card here and lose this card here and win this card back from this place, and you know, you got the random rule to deal with. It was never something that, you know... and you can get them all on disc 4. If you do, as long as you've done the card flip quest, you can do it all on disc 4, which is so much easier. And there we go. There's Dingadal defeated. You thrashed me, mate. Now I can double jump. Woo! Yeah, the Queen of Cards is just, it's RNG galore. That's the best way to put it. It's just lots of RNG. I know. I know. Right. Like, the thing is, right, I feel like there's a line somewhere, like, you know, I mean, I know it's not a blind Let's Play or anything, because, you know, he's played it before. He hasn't, like, gotten all the GFs and gotten, like, all that sort of stuff before, but the thing is that it's like, hold on.
Haven't we gotten far for a pair of fuzzy marsupials? I am Dr. Nefarious Tropy, master of time and the creator of the very time twister machine you see before you. Uka Uka and Dr. Cortex have sent me to end this little charade, so you won't be leaving my area with the crystals. I swear it.
Looks a bit like Jafar. See there, unlock a new path by earning the yellow gem elsewhere. Yeah, I think there's a thing with, like, I like watching blind Let's Plays because it's nice to see people, like, discover things for the first time and all that. It's very nice. And I think there's a line to draw. I think, you know, there are times where people yeah, I know what you mean. It's like when people say, like, oh, Final Fantasy VIII is drawing loads of magic from something. That's all it is, standing around drawing magic. Well, no, it's not. But I think there's like a line to draw where it's kind of like, you know, you see them play badly and it's kind of like, oh yeah, I can understand, yeah, the game presents this in such a way, but then you get like times where people like playing things and you think like, oh come on, it's so simple. I mean, hindsight 2020 as they say, but I think that there are times where you can sort of make that distinction. I think I know why I found these pits a bit... oh, never mind. So I think I found a reason why I found these pits quite large is because the outside of them, it's okay to step on. That being said, they still are quite hard to jump over even with that knowledge. Oh, for goodness sake. What does your head teacher do, Ice? This is ridiculous. Oh, the little dinosaur thingy-majiggy. Yeah, there are times where it's like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing that for? And everything. But like, I know someone who was like trying out Final Fantasy VIII and he was like, oh, the battles take ages because you keep summoning GFs all the time. And I'm like, no, what are you doing that for? You sold the skull gate to a rag and bone man. That's it's a very strange thing to do. We just like tore off the gate. That was, you know, when I was a kid, when I was like a young kid, like that was like my dream job. I mean, I don't know if there is such a thing as a Dragonborn lady or anything, but I just love the idea of driving around the streets just shouting Dragonborn. It was like a childhood fantasy of mine. I was a strange kid, and I'm a strange adult as well. Well, are you surprised you got in trouble for I never really got in trouble at school. I was a very good kid, but I my main shortcoming when it came to school, main struggle for me when it came to school was homework, because I just despised homework. The concept didn't sit well with me at all. And to be honest, I got a bit lazy as well, but I did alright. Whoa. It's gonna be another case of losing lots of lives. I'm gonna really need those boosts. Dun 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 dun. Man. Oh wow. I mean, I'm not gonna like give you a hard time or anything, but I can't like condone that. But you know, I might actually get a game over. This is... oh dear. This is not cool. Yeah, oh, man, like... Does the dinosaur smash them? I mean, I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've like played this game. Or is this one of those levels where you can't get them? I'll take your word for it. But like that, you know, that sort of Oh yeah, he does break it. Oh yeah. Hold on. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh well. Yeah, see, when I was at school, we did have like IT class and stuff, but we didn't really like have it wasn't very computer based, our work. I don't know how much that has changed now. Dynamite! High time. Oh, another one of those levels. Right, now if I remember correctly, the red gem on this level is something... Yeah. Yeah, oh. Oh yeah, IT class. Right, okay. So I mean, it tells you in the hint screen, like, go back and backtrack to get to the special gem. Like, don't tell us. Let us figure it out. I mean, the game was originally designed for you to figure it out without being told. So just let people find out. I liked IT. IT was one of my favourite subjects. IT and maths were my favourites. Oh, it's just these stupid levels. Yeah, we still did the Flash games, but for us, see, Flash games weren't so much, Flash games were mostly, not so much in IT, but like other subjects where we went onto computers. Like I remember, I once did what was it, GCSE graphic products. And there was some times where, you know, sorry, trying to get my headset lined up here. There was some times where we got them. Yeah, started playing like that helicopter game, which is like what Flappy Bird is, but I mean everyone knows the helicopter game. Hold on, this is annoying. My headset is like sliding off behind me. Oh, should have known. Yeah, thing is, like, it's been so long since I've left school now. I'm 29 now. Next year, next September, I'm going to be 30. So, I mean, I stayed until 6th form, so I finished 6th form in 2007. So that was 10 years ago now. I mean, I went to university since then, but, like, school, I finished it, like, well, proper school, like, normal school, I finished in 2005. But yeah, 6th form I finished in 2007. No, I never got in trouble. Right, yeah, so this is where you gotta go. Like, so obviously what you gotta do is you gotta, like, get a thing. Like, hit a switch and then come all the way back. So yeah, the colour gems is you don't have to do, like, weird things for them. And this is an example of one. Why did I think to attack that? I don't know. Not sure how much longer I'm going to go for. I might finish this pretty soon. But I'm glad we've got quite a few people in here today. Which I don't usually get, and it's very nice. I'm hoping that... Right, okay, here we go. Ah, okay. So, oh. See, I've got to go all the way back now. Now that I've hit that switch. Well, it's nice. I like streaming and having like a nice group of people. I mean, sometimes there has been like one occasion or two maybe where I've been streaming and there's just been no one there, so I'm just talking to myself as if I'm doing a let's play, which is okay, I suppose, but you know, because it all goes into archived footage. But I like there to be like, you know, people. Right, here we go. But even still, I'd rather there be like a small group of people than to have like one of those streams. You know, when you get people who are like streaming and they're like really popular, and the comments, it's just like it just all flies by. Like you can say something and it'll be gone like in less than a second. It's like I don't like that at all. Thought I could have gone under that. Oh well, I guess not. Oh, four lives. I'm not doing very well, am I? It's strange to think I'm actually running out of lives. That's something I'm used to in a Crash Bandicoot game. Right. I think I'll just let them blow up. Come on. Right. No! 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 Oh, almost got 2 gems in one there. I mean, I will do, but if I run out of lives, I will not be happy. So Ice, if you, I hope you've enjoyed your time here since you are a newcomer. I hope you like the stuff that I do. Shuya Nobu. Come on, no, no, oh no. Got one more life. There's always been the debate with me, like, the number next to the lives, like, the way that I've always read it is like, the number represents like how many, like, you know, you die, you use up a life, so like lives is sort of like a resource that you consume as you use. I'm gonna get a game over. I'm going to get a game over. This is so strange. This is, there, game over. Oh my goodness.
Game over.
Yeah. Not very nice. I was not expecting to get a game over. Tell you what I shall do though. Just because this game has proven to me that I can get a game over, and well, obviously I can technically, I'm not gonna go for the relic. I'm just gonna grind out some lives. I don't think there's a trophy for like getting 100 lives or something, so I mean, not that I'm going to do that now, but I think there's supposed to be like a place that's good for it. In Crash 2, I was able to just get 100 lives just by playing, and you know, that's just the way it went. But on this game, I ran out of them, so I have a bad feeling about trying to get the platinum for this game. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna, since though it's been made clear to me that I can actually lose all my lives, I'm gonna grind some lives. I'll take that life. Diddle-it-did-did-do. Yeah, well, I was saying, Ice, if you like this, I hope you... Oh, well, okay, I'll see ya. Hopefully, I'll see you some other time when I'm streaming another time. Might be streaming a different game. Even if it's a game that you're not, like, particularly, like, interested in, I hope you still, well, enjoy some conversation. Either way. So, goodbye. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get my tea soon. See, that's one method of distinguishing the southerners from the northerners, is whether you call it dinner or tea. Oh, Crash was hovering for a second then. Yeah. Do you think Neocortex would put little things on gods that has like an N symbol on? Seems a little strange. I'm not saying that's like a weird thing because it's Cortex. I wouldn't expect him to do that. It's just that I wouldn't expect someone to do that in general. Even a villain mastermind or whatever. Not like gods, like buildings and technology and all that sort of stuff, then surely, yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. The whole loot box thing. Was it you? I think it was you that said on your stream with the Cuphead, like, oh, is it just me, or is this far more appealing than all those, like, $60 AAA games? I think that was you. Oh my god, the whole loot box situation, like, and microtransactions in general. And I'm just going to grind this level out a few times before I finish, I think. I mean, I might have to go before then, but I'm just going to do this for now. The whole, like, loot box microtransaction thing. People... See? The way that a lot of people approach it is from a sort of like a consumer advocacy type standpoint. Which, I mean, you know, I do too, sort of. Yeah. But it's like, you know, people say like, oh, loot boxes are bad, and the way that they'll talk about them is they're like, oh, it encourages gambling, you know, it's pay to win, which, and it's all like very like consumer focused and all that. And I completely agree with that. But to me, it's more so just like, the whole concept is like confusing to me, like just like microtransactions in general, like you're paying money to, oh man, I miss the life. You're paying money for resources that you're like, the other way to get them is to play the game. And people do say like, oh yeah, you don't have to buy them, you can play the game and earn them. But I don't understand how that's a positive, like, why do people say that as if it's a defense of microtransactions? Like, how does that work in its favour? Surely. Surely, the ability to unlock something in place of paying for it makes the whole paying for it even worse, because what you're paying for is the removal of playing to unlock something, so you're paying for less of a game. But what are you, what thing is though, what are you considering an in-game currency? Because that could mean, like anything can be a currency though, can't it, really? Like, I think it's obvious. I think you can look at a game and see like more than like two currencies and like see it and think, ah, this is microtransaction stuff, right? And I think that's obvious when there's like a very clear like hierarchy to the currencies. But, you know, I mean, there's a chance that multiple currencies is just like an element of resource management. Not saying that many games do that, but of course there's a chance of that. I mean, I've played loads of Clicker Heroes. I mean, I love Clicker Heroes. Played loads of Clicker Heroes this year, and that's a free-to-play game with microtransactions. And it's really weird to me, because it's like, okay, the game is free, right? And in fact, this applies to any free-to-play game with microtransactions, which, you know, of course there's a whole thing of like, oh, if the game costs $60 to begin with, then it shouldn't have microtransactions in it, and I completely agree. But if we're going to be talking specifically about microtransactions in general here, Like, I realize I just use the word specifically and in general in the same sentence, which is weird. But say if what am I trying to say here? Yeah, so you got a free-to-play game, okay? And it's free, you didn't play anything, you didn't pay anything for it, and the game has microtransactions. Now, those microtransactions still fall under the category of paying to reduce playtime unlocking stuff. Right? So, the value proposition of paying the money is exactly the same. Just because you didn't pay before then doesn't mean that value proposition has changed. And people do say like, oh well, I got the game for free, so I'm not paying any money for it. This is like me. It's like, you know, I can pay it because I didn't have to pay for the game. But that's sort of like a sunk cost fallacy, because just because you didn't pay for something before doesn't mean, like, just because you feel like you got a good deal out of something before doesn't mean you have to balance that by paying money for something that isn't a good deal afterwards to balance that out. Do you know what I mean? Game X, it has gold coins that you earn through game playing and spend on standard items, but then you can buy green notes. Yeah. Yeah, there's a very... Well, that's what I mean, like... Oh. Yeah, by the way, the PS4 comment system doesn't, like, it tends to, like, cut off the sentences and all that. To further you can get other types of currency to buy items otherwise unattainable without microtransactions. See, to me, it makes no difference if the microtransaction is something that you can unlock, if something you can't unlock. If you're paying for progression, that you can get that progression. I mean, what makes it different to DLC is, like, if a DLC, what you're paying for is content, you're paying for access to part of the game, and that might be fairly priced, it might not be, but ultimately, like, say if like a level in this game here was behind a paywall, you're still paying for content, you're still paying for stuff to play. Whereas if instead of that, the game had it where you paid for a crystal that was in a level, you paid to just unlock the crystal, you're not paying for content, because the crystal isn't content. People always seem to, like... Hold on. Free games which help you avoid playing the game just mean one thing: the gameplay as a whole, or in part, isn't worth the time ultimately. That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, if you're paying money to skip stuff in the game, then that implies that the stuff isn't worth playing, to quote Jim Sterling here. And in fact, by adding an explicit value to the amount of time saved, you're suggesting the time spent is worth less than nothing. Ah, right, okay. I realised I said I wasn't going to go for the, I wasn't going to play Crash 2 because it might be the same thing over and over again, but I'm just enjoying this conversation. Yeah. Yeah, it goes against the idea of paying money. It goes against the idea of games being an enjoyable thing that you opt into because it's an enjoyable thing to do. Which should be obvious that that's what games are for. I mean, you're not forced to play games. People choose to play games because, you know, they've decided that that's a good way to spend their time. So if you're paying money to have that time reduced, then you ultimately have to agree that playing games is a bad thing to begin with, or at least playing that game is a bad thing to begin with. It's like when you go like on like the PSN store and you see things. You go on the like the PSN store and you see things like time savers pack, and I'm thinking, wait, what is my time being saved from? It being saved from playing the game? That last comment. Oh, see, I wish I could remember. I mean, I'm glad this is being archived because, like, I can obviously go back and like re-listen to what I said. But yeah, we go into games. Yeah, what was it? It was along the lines of playing games is optional, and we choose to play games because we've decided that that's our time. That's the best way to spend our. I'm not saying it as eloquently now, but that's the best way to spend our time. And so if you're paying money to have that time reduced, then that supposes that the time... Oh, I don't remember what I was saying. I don't remember the exact comment I made, but yeah. Oh, I know. It's like people will say, well, they're very successful, they make a lot of money. Like, yeah, I get that, but that doesn't make them better. And it's like, you know when people say like, well, companies exist to make money, it's all about the money. And then on the flip side, you've also got people that say like, oh, there's no passion anymore, it's all about the money. And it's like, okay, understanding that it's about the money isn't the bad thing. The bad thing is knowing that the desire to get money doesn't go hand in hand with the desire to make a good game. It should be that someone's like, okay, we want to make a lot of money here, so let's make a great game so we can sell a lot. Here's a little Easter egg. If you let the Wumpa Fruit land and then just move away before you spins it off, then there you'll have the juice on his head as you run around. And you're spinning it off, eyes off. Yeah, I'm not really like focusing much on this grinding for lives now. I'm just sort of like entertaining myself through this conversation. And I may as well continue to go around and do some grinding as I do eat. Do 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 do. Also, Fran, what do you think about the hold on. You argue that games aren't much of an investment for gamers anymore, absent physical media and a generalized increase in expendable income. I know. The thing is though with the... I mean the thing is, it's sort of like the whole like thing of, oh, you know, games are reaching a wider audience. I'm thinking, yeah, that's a good thing, but at the same time I think that what I want people, when I think of, you know, other people playing games, what I think of is I want them to experience the same, like, not the exact same game, so to speak. I mean, that would be nice, but when I think about new people playing games, and this goes into a different topic, I suppose, what I want people to experience is the feeling of playing a great game. You know what I mean? I don't, like, the amount of people playing games, if you're talking about games like Candy Crush and Clash of Clans and like all that you said, and like even Call of Duty, then it's kind of like, well, that number, I have no investment in that number, because it's like, well, so what, I don't care. But if you said like, oh yeah, so many more people are being opened up to Final Fantasy VIII, I'd be like, what? I'm interested. Why? What's going on here? And then if it turned out that it was like, oh yeah, because they've added a first person mode in this new thing where it's a first person shooter, I'd be like, oh, okay then. It's like, are you aware of the are you aware of the controversy around, well, I say controversy, I think it's really stupid, right? The whole thing about Cuphead being exclusionary because it's too difficult for some people, and saying that games should like allow like easier modes and allow you to skip bosses and all that. Like, what they're trying to say is like, oh yeah, they should do that to so that they can entice more people into the game. I mean, Cuphead's just one example, but yeah, people say like, oh, they should do that to entice more people into the game, but then it's kind of like, but you're not enticing people. If in order to entice people into the game, you have to change the game so much that it becomes something completely different, then you're not enticing people into that game. If people aren't going to like a game, then they're not going to like a game. And if you're going to try to like do all these things to try to make it appeal to more people, you're just going to water it down. And I was also going to ask about like cosmetic microtransactions, because people say, oh, it's okay if it's only cosmetic. Well, I mean, the thing is, people always assume that if someone's like against the idea of certain games being made easier or whatever, that they must be like, ooh, elitist, get good, you're so like, ooh, I'm so amazing and you're terrible, when it's not that at all. I mean, I don't know about you, but well, exactly, yeah. It's like, you know, like when the Steam and PS4 versions of like Final Fantasy 7, 8 and 9, well, 8 isn't on PS4, but like the, you know, the newer versions of 7, 8 and 9 came out, and they decided to add all these boost modes where you can like press the button and now you're avoiding all random battles, and press this button and oh, all your attacks do max damage and all that. Like, to me, that's like them saying, look, we know Final Fantasy is such an awful series that people don't want to play it, so like we're going to give you this thing so that you don't have to play it. People are like, well, it's sort of like, yes, you know, you get everything straight away, and it's like, you press the button. I mean, it's like, it's not the game. If you can like press the button, and people say like, I know like people will say like, oh well, there's this particular boss that's really bad, and you know, it's good that they allow you to skip it because I don't have to play that boss. Okay, but like, why don't you do that for every boss then? It's the easiest thing to do. Just press the button and you've got everything. say, well, you don't have to do it. Well, no, you can avoid pressing the buttons, but there's no reason not to, because it's by far the most optimal thing to do. It's like saying you don't have to play your game with your eyes closed. No, you don't. But if it was optimal to, you know, doesn't mean people are going to start playing with their eyes closed. I mean, obviously some people are, but doesn't mean that people are going to start playing with their eyes closed because, you know, it makes the game harder. You just do what you can to play through. You play it as effectively. Like, the whole point of a game is to be challenged and so that you overcome the obstacles that are there. And that does not necessarily mean that the game is hard. The game can be easy. I mean, challenge does not mean hard. You can have an easy challenge. I'm really not focusing on my lives at the moment. I'm just doing this for the sake of continuing on this conversation, if I'm honest. Do. Oh, I almost got the time trial then thing by accident. Cuphead as elitist because of its difficulty doesn't make sense. Yeah, exactly. Especially if in the YouTube era game, since if you were there for the story, you can just... Yeah, I know what you're saying. If you're there for the story and for the graphics and stuff, you could just watch someone else play it. Yeah, but see, someone would look at that. I mean, I completely agree. But someone would look at that and would say, oh, that's elitist. Like, oh, yeah, why can't they enjoy the game? But no, it's not. You know, watching a Let's Play, watching a video is exactly what those people are asking for. It's not a case of, oh, you want to play this, then watch a Let's Play. It's, no. If you don't want to play the game, why? Like... I saw a video which said, and I completely agree, said people see the difficulty as the game locking people away from its content, but the actual fact is that the difficulty is the content, and if playing through that difficulty is not something that you want, then quite simply you don't want Cuphead. It's sort of like pretending that games aren't games, if you know what I mean. Like, when I see someone talk about games in that sort of way, like, oh, everyone should be able to see everything, should be able to go everywhere and unlock everything right from the start, to me, that's sort of like a way of them saying that games are effectively like a toy box that you can, like, grab and just pull things out and mess about with, and then pull something else out and then mess about with that. But I think games are far better than that. And the whole, like, appealing to everybody thing, even that doesn't make sense, because, like, by doing these certain things, you're actively turning people away. It sort of reminds me, it's like when people who are into RPGs and, like, you know, like, say, like JRPGs, like turn-based JRPGs, you know, like your Final Fantasy games and Dragon Quest and all that, and then someone comes along and they say, JRPGs are terrible, you don't do anything, all you do is tell the characters what to do and then they do it themselves. But, and then, or maybe you've got someone else who's like, oh, I want to start playing a JRPG to see what it's all about, but, ooh, I need an easy one, I need one to, like, not be turn-based or whatever, so I can like ease my way into it. And then they're like, oh well, there's this game that's kind of like a first-person shooter RPG, or this other game that's like this type of RPG. And I think to myself, whenever I hear these types of stories, I think to myself, all you're doing is playing directly into their narrative. Directly into their narrative that these games are bad or inaccessible. Yeah. I'm just trying to think about this here. Well, yeah, exactly. But what I'm saying is, like, if you... Hold on, I'm gonna get a drink, because I'm talking a lot. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of, like... Exactly. Exactly. See, back when I was 11, when I first saw Final Fantasy 8, it was my first Final Fantasy. I got it for my 12th birthday, but I saw it when I was 11. And it was the menus that really grabbed me. It was like, and you open up the menu, and I'd played Pokemon before, and I was just looking at the menu, I was like, oh wow, there's like so much like customization and stuff here, and it really like grabbed my attention. What I'm saying is, like, you know, you've got people who will say like yeah, I'll do this level here. People will say like, trying to get my thoughts together here. Yeah, people will like bash on like JRPGs and say like, oh, they're really bad and all that. I thought you could jump on these guys' heads from behind. Oh no, still from the front. Oh well. Like, people will say, like, oh yeah, you don't do anything, they're all really bad, you don't even do anything, you just tell them what to do, and they'll start saying all this stuff. And then people will respond by saying like, well no, they're not all like that, because what about Paper Mario, and what about the Eats games, and what about Valkyria Chronicles? And they'll start like listing off all these games of like things that are like different to what they're saying. But the way that I see it is like, well, no, what you're doing there is you're telling them inadvertently that what they're saying is correct, and that there are exceptions, whereas my argument would be, not that there are games different to what they're describing, but rather that what they're describing is complete nonsense. As opposed to, you know, just saying like, oh well, there's this exception, there's that exception. I'd be like, no, there's so much going on in these games. and I just find it irritating. So I'm a bit distracted here. Do you know what I mean? Actually, I better get this before it turns to metal. Do 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 do. And it's also like when people say that turn-based means that, you know, you have less control because you're not moving them around and all that. It's like, okay, you're not moving them around, but in what other game could you have like multiple characters with like several tens of abilities, each with their own like unique thing and like, you know, different stats and all that you can like customize to such like extreme degrees. And it's like you don't really find like in other games. You don't really find those things, and if you do, it's like not to the same degree. I like how it's raining on this part. Oh dear, have I yeah, I've messed up my chance to get that there. Yeah, I know I've said this already, but I said it ages ago as well, but I will be ending this soon. I think I'm gonna, so I'm just checking something at the moment, but I will be ending this stream probably once I've finished this level. Right, let's try that again. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Yes, but I'm glad you agree. I'm glad you know where I'm going on all this. Are you up to date with my top 500 games series? Aha, I made it. I think it's up to episode 64 now. Very nice. Yeah, I think that was the... Oh, hold on. Just gonna check. Yeah, that would have been the last episode. Yeah, soon to get into the top 50. I tell you what though, it feels like, I mean, it's not just that like I've made something and like, you know, there's people watching it that makes me feel like really proud and everything. But just the fact that this is a series that's just so like, it's just such a huge series. I mean, the whole series, like, if you put all the episodes together, it totals about 26 hours. So it makes me feel really happy that you're enjoying it. And it does feel quite strange as well to think, like, I mean, like I said before, the list was finished over a year ago now. Soon to be 2 years, like the actual, not the videos, but the actual like list itself is approaching 2 years old. can I not jump on this guy? Okay then. Yeah, the list itself is approaching 2 years old now. But like, so obviously, like with the exception of like the last year or like maybe the last 2 years, you've pretty much seen the entire history of like my life in gaming, which is really weird to think. I mean, obviously it doesn't go into every specific detail of every story or whatever, but I'm surprised that worked. But it still feels strange to think that like all that much information about all those games I put out there, and it's like, so you would have like heard of me, you would have heard me talking about nearly 450 games at this point. And how many people do you know that you've heard them talk about 450 games? I mean, I have no idea what the answer is to that question, but I'm not sure I can think of anybody that I've heard talk about 450 games. It is a really strange thing to think about. Well, yeah, I suppose. I don't, what was I gonna say? Yeah, like offline, I don't really talk to many people about games and stuff in general, because a lot of the time the games that people talk about is just stuff that I'm not interested in. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to end this stream here. So anyway, yeah, hopefully I'll do this again and you'll see, and we can have other similar discussions and all that. But yeah, I'm going to do that paranoid thing where you save over and over again. There you go. Right, okay, that's it. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.